Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Morning Hundoke. Today we have Reverend Gregory Stone sharing on this Unshield Day, Saturday the 7th of March 2026, or the 19th of January in the 14th year of Chongalguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's offer a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chanji Champumaninge. Chambe Parho. And let's recite our family pledge both in Korean and English.
하전맨세 5. 천일극주인 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 전산세계와 대산적 지산세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 5. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges to strive every day to advance the unification of the spirit world and the physical world as subject and object partners by centering on true love. Thank you, and I'd like to share True Mother's blessing prayer that she gave 17th of February 2013. Heavenly Parent, may glory be with heaven and may praise and exaltation overflow in all people on earth. True parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we are so grateful. You have worked so hard. We know that today we are unworthy creatures that cannot stand under the wing of this great blessing and grace. Yet heaven has graciously and forgivingly embraced us again. Father, how can we be the only ones to receive this grace and deeply moving experience? To you, our Heavenly Parent, we pledge and resolve once again to move as one force toward the completion of Chongalguk until the end of our days. Heavenly Parent, please embrace us. We have the fervent desire to stand before you as children who can receive your love and be proud. Our dear God, on this occasion I beseech you, our Heavenly Parent, please protect us to the very end, and may your will be accomplished well throughout the entire world. Arju. Thank you. And before we welcome up Reverend Stone, I'd like for us to share this praise song. So please enjoy.
Scheme. 일곱 국기 동일무도와 일본도 국제 41 수련생들이 다 함께 홀레마르한 참모님을
We, the trainees of Holy Mother Workshop, will protect Holy Mother Han, True Mother.
Protect you! So please do not worry and let us fight together!
Thank you. Let's welcome up Reverend Stone as he shares this morning with us.
So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah, can hear you fine. You can see your slide fine.
Terrific. Okay, so today I'd like to give a speech from Father, actually that's connected to religious freedom. Of course, it was given just before he went to Danbury. And it was quite relevant, actually, even for today in our current situation, even though it's decades ago. It was in 1984, June the 26th, and it was United States Capitol building, Washington, D.C., USA. It was a Senate Constitutional Subcommittee hearing on religious liberty. And Yeah, it was in the Dirksen Senate building, office building. And Father was testifying along with others. It was organized by Senator Orrin Hatch from Utah, sort of the Mormon state. And he's a great champion of religious freedom. And at that time, there'd been a lot of attacks against religious freedom in America. And some ministers even went to prison. And then, of course, the attack on Father himself. So this was just a very short time before Father went into Danbury, and he was called to testify at this Senate hearing. And I wanted just to go over what actually Father said during this Senate hearing in the Capitol building. Senator Orrin Hatch was a champion of religious freedom. He was a senator for 42 years, one of the longest serving senators in American history, and he saw some 750 bills passed during his time. So yeah, he's an amazing guy, and he was a very great friend of our movement. He passed away just 2 or 3 years ago at the age of 88. In his opening address, Subcommittee Chairman Senator Orrin Hatch, a Republican from Utah, expressed his deep concern for the First Amendment and its application. This is a quote, "There has seemed to be a recent acceleration of disputes between American citizens and the affairs of churches," he said. He said, deviating from his prepared remarks, Hatch said, "Jailings of ministers are especially disturbing to me. Here we are putting men of the cloth behind bars right here in the 20th century. It is more than disturbing to me. I think it's alarming. This isn't the Soviet Union. It isn't Poland. It isn't Afghanistan. This is the United States of America." These remarks were received with strong applause. So as we know, True Mother is in detention right now, and under great religious persecution in Japan, and also potentially strongly also further moves in Korea. So this is Father's words. So Reverend Moon was incarcerated at Danbury on July the 20th, 1984, just less than a month later. And he was released August the 19th, 1985. His term amounted to 396 days, or precisely 13 months. This is what Father said at that hearing. "Honourable Chairman, distinguished members of the Senate, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to express my heartfelt appreciation to you for inviting me to speak at this Senate hearing on religious freedom. I want to also express my sincere gratitude, Mr. Chairman, for your support in favour of my appeal to the Supreme Court. Your noble deed to uphold the principle of constitutional rights and individuals will be long admired by millions of Americans." America and freedom of religion. True Father goes on, "Since the Supreme Court refused to review my case, there has been a very strong protest by many members of the religious community. More than 1,000 clergymen, Jewish, Christian, and Muslim, have pledged to commit 1 week of their lives in prison with me in the name of religious freedom. It moves me deeply. I salute these champions of religious freedom. I feel this occasion is historic. I'm not just speaking to the United States Congress. I'm speaking to history and before God. God loves America. America's greatness does not lie in her vast resources or in her tremendous prosperity. It lies in the very spirit upon which this nation was founded. That is the spirit of one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. However, God's will is not just one nation under God. It is one world under God. We are all brothers and sisters, one human family. When we all recognize God as our Father, this ideal can become a reality. Without religious freedom, however, God cannot fulfill his ideal. The nation's founders understood that if you do not have religious freedom, you have no freedom at all. They risked their very lives to secure freedom of worship. This is a painting. The Pilgrim Fathers, a group of English separatist Puritans, established the Plymouth colony in New England in 1620 to practice their faith freely, which they couldn't do in Europe. Now that freedom of worship is in danger. A blind spirit of atheism and religious intolerance is found in America today. And this time, there is no other new world to receive us as pilgrims. We have no choice but to restore America as a land of religious freedom. If we do not, this nation will perish and the world will perish. I was called to come to America and carry out my mission. In 1971, God called me to come to America and lead a movement to revive the fervor of Christianity and restore the founding spirit of this nation. God has sent me to America in the role of a doctor and a firefighter. He has sent me to bring about a dramatic spiritual awakening. The survival of the entire world depends on America fulfilling its responsibility. America is the last bastion of freedom. For the last 20 years, I have given my heart and soul and every drop of my sweat and tears for the sake of this nation, for the last 12 years. In the process of fulfilling this mission, I've become controversial and in some quarters unpopular, and I have been persecuted. However, I'm by no means the first religious leader to have experienced persecution. Many of the major religious figures in the Judeo-Christian tradition have walked this path of suffering through persecution. Today, I'm honored to follow the same tradition. I believe that God's hope is for freedom on earth, and the greatest threat to freedom today is totalitarianism, particularly in the form of communism, which systematically opposes freedom of religion. Communism has killed more than 150 million people. I myself suffered nearly to the point of death in a communist prison camp. Communism is the worst inhumanity in the world today. Freedom has been retreating for the past decade. In 1975, freedom retreated from Southeast Asia. Millions of people perished. Nation after nation in Africa and Latin America has been communized. 1.5 billion people have fallen under communist tyranny so far. Now Central America, in the neighborhood of the United States, is the front line of the battle. I know that the enemies of freedom will not stop until they achieve their final goal, the conquest of this very nation, the United States of America. Accomplishments during my 12 years in America. I supported Ronald Reagan for president because I hoped that he would do God's will to stop the spread of communism and truly bring this nation back to God and to her founding spirit. It is disappointing that under this man, who was elected with the tremendous support of the religious community, the state is encroaching more than ever on the affairs of the church. For the first time, ministers are being jailed. Truly, religious freedom is being dealt a devastating blow. In the last 12 years, I have done everything I could for America. I have had just one goal in mind: to strengthen the moral fiber of America and enlarge her capacity to fulfill God's will. Through projects such as the International Religious Foundation, the New Ecumenical Research Association, and the Conference on God, the Contemporary Discussion, I have sought to bring teachers of all faiths together to better understand God and one another. I've also worked to bring God's will into the academic world. The International Cultural Foundation sponsors annual conferences on science and absolute values and brings scholars together in organizations such as the Professors' World Peace Academy, Paragon House Publishers, and the Washington Institute for Values in Public Policy. You've got down the bottom there the pictures of the International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences, which is all part of that, that work. In the area of cultural expression, I've endeavored to reinforce the theme of reverence towards God. In the movie Inchon, for example, I've tried to portray the historic importance of General Douglas MacArthur, a great American devoted to God and humanity. It is vital for American young people to understand this heroic figure. Because religious ideals need to be expressed in service to humanity, I initiated the International Relief Friendship Foundation and Project Volunteer. To work towards the liberation of all people from totalitarian ideologies, I established the International Federation for Victory over Communism, Collegiate Association for the Research of Principles, and CAUSA International. See there on the right, that's William Lay, presenting the CAUSA material with that, which he and other under Dr. Bowie Park organised. To set a standard of responsibility in communications media, I founded the World Media Association, the News World Communications, both of which published several newspapers. One of these, the Washington Times, was created to present an alternative view of the news to the people of the nation's capital. This project alone has cost our movement more than 100 million. Okay, so this is 1984. I think Washington Times was around 1981. So it's only like 3 years after its founding. By the year 2000, it's estimated around $2 billion to support the Washington Times. Of course, that's now 25 years ago. I know it's become more viable financially, but it's still, I think, a huge investment. These projects have required a vast amount of financial resources, as well as the hard work and loving sacrifice of committed church members. We have poured several $100 million into America because this nation will decide the destiny of the entire world. These contributions are primarily coming from overseas. The United States has been a recipient of these funds, not a source of them. I have acted in the firm belief that if America is lost, everything is lost. There is no other country God can turn to. Religious persecution in the courts of America. When you understand the scope of my work, can you really believe I came to America to defraud the government of $25,000? Which, of course, was the issue that Father was accused of. From the very beginning, this was not a tax case. It has been an invasion by the government into the internal affairs of religion. They chose the Unification Church because they thought no one would come to our defense. However, this is where they miscalculated. The religious community of America knows that unless everyone is safe, no one is safe. And when one is threatened, all are threatened. So we can see that exactly the same thing can be said today. That it's not a case of spiritual sales in Japan, or really political interference in Korea. It's an invasion by the government into the internal affairs of religion, and particularly in Korea, they accuse us of being in breach of the separation of church and state, but they're the ones who are really absolutely in breach of that. They are invading into the whole arena of religious freedom, big time. So when the government abuses its authority, and the consequences are fearsome. It was the Roman state that crucified Jesus Christ. In this country, it was the state that burned witches, persecuted Roman Catholics, shunned Jews, and prolonged black slavery. It was the state that allowed Joseph Smith, founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, to be killed by a mob while he was in prison. It is the state that is coming after me, and in the process violating the religious freedom of everyone. We must stop this trend now. If we do not, then who is next? Now, absolutely, once again, we can say it is the state that is working in Japan to persecute and take away our rights and even our property. It's the state that is imprisoned mother. So really, the vehicle through which Satan is working is really the government. And this is not the first time, as Father is saying here. It's kind of par for the course in a sense. In the providence of God, the case of Reverend Moon has become a rallying point for religious freedom in the United States. I stand convicted for no other reason than my religious beliefs and practices. I am to be punished for being who I am. This has shocked and awakened the conscience of America. Many religious leaders and believers of all faiths have stood up in outrage. They are registering their protests. Most important of all, they are united. The unity will ensure the survival of America. So we really need to rally the religious community and really make them aware of these incredible abuses and create a unified front. A great confrontation. The greatest confrontation in the world today is not the United States versus the Soviet Union, capitalism versus socialism, or even democracy versus communism. It is faith in God versus the denial of God. The communist world, based on atheism, has failed to fulfill the human dream. The free world, on the other hand, has become materialistic and has forgotten God, and it is helpless in the face of the grave world crisis. The world is dark with confusion. A new vision must emerge, a new worldview centered on God. I am teaching that worldview, which is based on God's heart of love. I call it Godism. I proclaim that this ideal will provide a new solution for the world. So these words in this paragraph are as fresh today as they were those decades ago that Father spoke out in the Senate of the United States. Godism can unite all religious people and all people of conscience. This worldview will bring unity among enemies and enemy nations. It will bring true freedom of the human spirit. This ideal will usher in the realization of the kingdom of God on earth. This worldview, a system of thought comprehensive and electrifying, has led many people to a personal experience with God. The effect has been so dramatic that in some quarters it has been labeled brainwashing. This is the reason that I have been misunderstood in some circles of the establishment and the media. The communists, who regard me as their archenemy, have exploited this misunderstanding in their attempt to destroy me. Once again, it's just echoing, it's just saying the same situation, how the media have exploited, and communism has exploited this sort of misunderstanding about our movement. It's kind of a repeat. In spite of the difficult difficulties involved, I am honored to dedicate myself today to the preservation of religious freedom in this country. If I can raise a beacon warning Americans of the danger that lies ahead, then my sacrifice will serve a great purpose. The issue today is the very survival of America and the free world. To assure this survival, I am willing to suffer any indignity, to go any distance, to do any labor and bear any cross. I am even willing to give my life if that would ensure that the nation and the world would survive and do God's will. So surely this is the same sentiment that True Mother has now as she's languishing there in the detention center. God bless America. Today, I carry no animosity towards anyone. Jesus Christ modeled the tradition of forgiveness when he prayed on the cross for those who crucified him. I am upholding that tradition. I long ago forgave my accusers. I feel no hostility towards the United States government. Instead, I pray for this country. I thank God that he is using me as his instrument to lead the fight for religious freedom and to ignite the spiritual awakening of America in this most crucial hour of human history. Mr. Chairman, once again, I thank you for this opportunity. I would like to conclude by saying, God bless America. So what a powerful, fairly concise statement from Father during that time of incredible persecution. And less than a month later, he went into Danbury for 13 months. At the conclusion of his testimony, Father submitted a request to Senator Hatch to seek a copy of a Justice Department prosecution memorandum of the Carter administration, which recommended that the US government not indict Father because no criminal case could be made against him. That had been the unanimous opinion of the 3 career tax lawyers at the Justice Department, whose job is to review cases for potential prosecution. There was no criminal case against Father either. He was railroaded into prison for other reasons connected with, religious prejudice. So it's the same with True Mother and same in Japan as well. So I'll just end with this little interesting note. Senator Orrin Hatch, after receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Donald Trump, this was in 2022. It wasn't long after that Orrin Hatch passed away. A great man, and he did a lot, especially for religious freedom in America and support of our own movement and Father. So thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Reverend Stone, for sharing. And before we just give our reflection, I'd like to share another praise song for us to reflect with. So please enjoy.
긴 시간을 기다린 후에 잃었던 꿈을 되찾고 온 세상 행복해지는 새로운 날 맞이하네. 성민으로 축복하시네. 우리 모두 하나 되어 이제 어머님 모시고 승리 향해 달려가자.
true mother who is always waiting for us with love.
보답해드리는 저희들이 되겠습니다.
We will become children who will pay that love back to you, true mother. As we engrave your love within our hearts, we will go out to the world and become children to spread your love.
그러한 효정의 마음을
With that heart of Yojong, let us offer this praise.
일어나 주저하지 말아라. 언제나 너의 기도 듣고 있으니 하늘 부모님 모신 인류한 가족 나와 함께 이루어가자. 오 사랑하는 자녀야 내가 너를 사랑하노라. 하늘은 오직 한 나를 위하여 너의 길을 예비하셨네. 아픔과 슬픔 사라지고 너와의 세상 찾아오면 주고 또 주는 참사랑의 힘으로 세상을 향해 나아가자. 일어나 주저하지 말아라. 언제나 너의 기도 듣고 있으니 하늘 부모님 모신 인류한 가족 나와 함께 이루어가자. 오 사랑하는 자녀야 내가 너를 사랑하노라. 하늘은 오직 한 나를 위하여 너의 길을 예비하셨네. 하늘 부모님 모신 인류한 가족 나와 함께 이루어가자.
어머님과 하나 되어 반드시 어머님께서 바라시는 뜻을
By becoming one with true mother, we will absolutely fulfill what true mother desires with her. Mother, we love you.
차렷 경례 바로
Yeah, thank you. And in reflection about religious freedom that you spoke, Reverend Stone, knowing that time, because I was in America in 1984 when this was happening, and really surprised as everyone how it really wasn't an issue of legality in any way, but really an attack on religious freedom. And that statement that Father said about the real essence, it's to do with faith in God versus the denial of God. And Australia has been a Christian nation, and I put the word has been a Christian nation ever since it began as a colony of prisoners. I mean, before that, the indigenous people were here, but as a Christian nation, after the settlement first took place in 1780s, it was, the bulk of the people were Christian, even though they were criminals and sent here. And and it was still a Christian nation right up till census 2016 in Australia, where 52% were Christian and 30% had no religion. But in 2021, which is just a few years ago now, it's the first time in Australia's history that it's no longer a Christian nation, because there's only 43.9%, according to the census, who say they are Christian, and 38.9 say that they have no religion. So this is quite a shock to the Christian community, that Australia is no longer a Christian nation. Yes, there are other religions that take up, but 38.9 with no religion. It's a growing trend. And Father says that's the essential problem, faith in God versus the denial of God, and how we were let that happen. Let the media get overrun by people that didn't believe in God, and let the government get overrun by people that didn't believe in God. And that's the situation we have in Australia now, and it seems to be reflected around the world, and in America itself. With as you showed the picture of Donald Trump giving the award to Orrin Hatch, that there's a resurgence of religious freedom, and a resurgence of the nation becoming Christian again. But still, it's because of, I think, religious freedom, where we say that any religion can have its voice. It also encompasses with it that religious freedom, religious people will let anyone say anything. But we need to defend God. God is our Father. God is our mother. God is the parent. And I think that's the big thing that we need to really state. The missionaries from Solomon Islands are staying a few days, and they're here in Sydney, and they're just going back on Sunday morning. And right after Chongsim Vigil Prayer, I was talking to them, because they're going back to Japan. They're going back to a place where there's no place to gather. They can't meet each other. And I mentioned to them that God doesn't really need buildings. He only really needs faith. And yes, buildings can come and go, and they will come and go, but faith is what remains. And they know in Japan that very few people are religious. They don't believe in God. And I said, well, how would you explain to God, to them? I said, current understanding of God, I don't believe in either, because God is not like that. And I said, to them, that for me, if someone says, prove God, or is God real? I said, well, I am the proof of God, because of the fact that I exist. And I said to them that you have parents, your parents have parents, and their parents have parents, and there has to be the first parent. And for us, our heavenly parent is the first parent, and we give the name God to that. And so if they believe in family, then they basically believe in God. So if we can help with a redefinition of how to portray God as our parent, I think there's a way to help people who don't believe in Christianity, or don't believe in the way God is portrayed as a God that doesn't care, to the fact that everyone has parents, whether they're religious or not religious, they have parents. And we need to go above religion, even though we're struggling with religious freedom everywhere. I feel that we have to, as a community, move towards the concept put into practice that our heavenly parent is really our parent. So anyway, that was some of my thoughts today, reflection, and also some thoughts that I gave to them, and wishing them well when they return to Japan and able to be able to meet and succeed in that situation, because our faith only grows stronger. Yeah. So anyway, some of my thoughts, and open up to anyone else who'd like to share. Please do. Yes, Ben, go ahead.
Okay, good morning. To my mind comes C.S. Lewis. He wrote, the very famous author of Screwtape Letters about Satan and evil, spiritual. That actually, if you deny God, somehow you also deny that there's a spirit world and all the evil influence that we have from there. So we know that Lucifer was restored 99 according to Father's spoken statement, but there's still evil spirits and evil angels for sure. It's a fallen world we have there. So it goes very well what you are saying, John, about God's existence. And if you deny God, you also deny that the world is very much influenced, and we can see that today with all the wars and all the evil that's ongoing. That there is an evil spiritual also, so it goes hand in hand. That's my thoughts, my sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, still have a bit of time for anyone else who'd like to share or make a reflection. Seems like everyone's a bit tired. Yeah, Thompson ones takes a lot out of you, I think. If there's no one else, I suppose we can just, because it's pretty close to time, we can just offer our unison prayer. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'll just bring up the screen and we can pray together. There it is. So let's offer our unison prayer. Thank you. Jew, Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Reverend Stone, for sharing, and I hope everyone has a great day, and see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.